You've seen him all over SportsCenter, all over ESPN, all over the SEC network, and he's here with us on Fridays, brought to you by our good friends at Edward Jones with Tex Morris over there on Jefferson Highway. Cole, good morning. How are you, man?
One of the best segments.
The best segment. I get college football.
Squeeze
it out of me.
The best segment, for sure, dude. Absolutely. We say that all the time.
Okay. Well,
just make sure.
The best would have been acceptable, but maybe that's for another day.
Well, how about this then? Because you have been banging the LSU drum a little bit just in terms of pointing out how wild this season was. Is this the best resume, like the best season that a team has ever had in college football history?
It's not close. It's really not debatable. When you talk about beating the top 4 teams in the preseason poll, was it 7 of the top 25, 5 of the top 10, something like that in the final poll. 7 top 10 teams that were ranked in the top 10 during the season. I mean, however you want to spin the polls, and then there's going to be the people that just don't like them, be like, they're all overrated anyway. Okay, well, let's just go pay attention to something else. I know this. They won in Austin, Texas. They won in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They beat one of the best defenses in the country in Auburn. They beat the team that I thought was the 4th best team going into the playoff rankings in Florida. They beat the ACC champions, the Big 12 champions, the teams that won the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, I think. No, not Cotton Bowl. Alamo Bowl,
Cotton was in there.
Bowl.
Or maybe.
No. Come on. I don't know what else do you want? And by the way, they kicked just about every one of them in the teeth. So, I mean, they scored more points than any team in the history of college football. And by the way, they played 7 top 50 pass defenses this year. They played 6 top 35 defenses this year. I mean, I don't know what else you want to try to use to say. But I understand people. I get a lot of the responses. We do this every year. No, we don't. No, we don't. There was no part of me that thought Clemson was the best football team ever assembled last year. Never once did I think that. Not at one single time. I didn't even think that about some of the Alabama teams the last few years, okay? When Alabama and Derek Lassick and those guys won the championship in 92 and they pummeled Gino Toretta in the Sugar Bowl, there wasn't a single part of, 13-year-old Cole Cubelic that thought, that's the best college football team they ever played. Now, when I saw 95 Nebraska roll Florida in the bowl game, I thought, man, that might be the best that's ever done it. So, yeah, there have been other times in which we thought that. There have been other times in which we thought maybe, possibly, and then people are going to bring in the talent perspective to this. Was 2001 Miami maybe a little bit more talented than this team, top to bottom? Possibly. But the arguments that people are bringing are Vince Wilfork, who was a freshman, Sean Taylor, who didn't play because of a dude named Ed Reed. So if we're going to have to wait to see what John Emery turns into, or we're going to have to wait to see just how good Derek Stingley's going to be, well, then we can't even have this conversation right now. We got to wait 4 years to see what all the red shirts and guys on the bench are going to do for the entirety of their career, and then maybe another 25 years to see if they actually get into the NFL Hall of Fame. So when you just put out the resume, the teams that they beat, what those teams were then, what they are now, what they are going to be, what we thought they were, where they did it, how they did it, it ain't even close. This is the best college football team to ever do it.
This is the best segment that we have. It ain't even close.
Hey, okay, so and I want to be clear, I am still basking in this championship. I ain't worried about looking forward. I ain't really worried about next year, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, LSU losing Joe Brady, losing Dave Aranda. What do you think the key to be able to replace top-notch coaching like that is? Because ideally, you want to hire guys that you want people to hire away, because that means that you did a good job. It means you hired somebody who's really good at their job. So what's the key to kind of trying to get that hiring process to be consistent?
I think 13-year-old, 23-year-old, 33-year-old Cole Cubelic would have given you very different answers. And now Cole Cubelic in his early 40s probably thinks he has this thing figured out. I would have probably given you a different answer a year ago. But being around Ed Orgeron some this year and talking to people involved in that program and seeing how he's handled and managed some certain things, I feel like I have the answer to this. And maybe this answer is selectively applicable to this program under this guidance. But I think the key to this is and Coach O hasn't gotten any credit for this and probably won't nationally because people just don't know any better. Ed Orgeron is a great evaluator of humans. And you could apply that to recruiting. You could apply that to players. You could apply that to his staff that doesn't necessarily coach people on the field. You could apply it to the coaches that he's brought in. You guys cover that team. You have to talk about that team every day. 365 days ago, 367, 380, 340, whatever it was when Joe Brady was announced that he was coming into LSU. When you were flipping through your Twitter timeline and you saw that hire, how many of you or Moscanas or Hester's or anybody else who covers that team took more than a glance at that and thought, oh, it's about to change.
Yeah.
Everything's about to be different.
Yeah.
I mean, be honest with me. Were you guys thrilled about that? Were you really pumped up about that?
No, I would take it a step further. I mean, Joe Brady, I didn't know who Bill Bush was. I didn't know who James Craig was. I mean, these guys, Bill Bush might be the best recruiter on the staff. James Craig just coached, as you know, the best offensive line in the country.
And I think it goes even a little bit further than the guys who actually coach the players. And this is what I want. The next time I get a chance to sit down with Ed Orgeron, I'm going to ask him one question. I need to know what boudin, gumbo, jambalaya that you're eating that has completely vaporized your ego. Like what is the ego disappearing juice that you've been drinking down there in Baton Rouge? Because I'll be honest with you, I need it.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. That was a great tweet. I favorited that tweet because I feel the same way.
Think about it. This guy he brought in and this goes both directions. He brings in Pete Jenkins, just a guy that he knows from a human being standpoint, not just one of the best D-line coaches ever, but he's told me, he's like, I wanted Pete here so I could go ask him, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? What else do I need to do? He brings in John Robinson, who is one of the greatest college football coaches in history. A guy who shows up at the facility at 7 o'clock every morning and stays till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. He's not coaching Jamar Chase. He's not coaching Caleb on Chase on. But Ed Orgeron just wanted a sounding board. He said he's told us that Robinson comes down there every Friday and he's got a checklist of like 5 or 10 things. Hey, have you thought about doing this? Have you considered this? You know, and people kind of came at me last night and said, "Oh, Dave Aranda was on staff before he got there." Well, he's the head coach. He could have fired. Mm-hmm. All right. Did he fight to get him more money? I feel like he did.
Yeah,
he did. He knew they'd be a good fit. And so then you throw in the Joe Bradys and all the other guys that you named. He brings guys in to help with other things like Derek Konamsky. I mean, he understands how to evaluate human beings. And I feel like that's a unique skill and talent that he has. Therefore, if I was an LSU fan, I wouldn't be overly concerned. Now, number one, you shouldn't be concerned because you just had the greatest season in the history of college football.
Yeah, enjoy it. Like, allow yourself to bask in it a little bit.
Who cares about all this stuff? But that would be the number one thing that would make me sleep better at night is that you got a guy in there that somehow, some way, whatever magic potion, whatever Disney princess fairy came down and waved their wand over his head and removed his ego, has actually happened, is going to go find the best human beings possible that are the best fit possible. And I think that's what may separate O from a lot of other guys. He doesn't feel like he's got to go get a great name. And you know why he doesn't feel like he has to do that? Because he made that mistake. And that brings in another value
that's a really good point.
That a lot of other coaches don't. Ed Orgeron has learned from his mistakes, be it USC, be it Ole Miss, be it hiring offensive coordinators that were a bad fit, which, by the way, those guys knew it was a bad fit way before any of us did. Yep. I know that. I promise you that. Yep. So he's learned from his mistakes. He's completely vaporized his ego. That thing has vanished. And he understands how to find good people. They don't have to go shop at Neiman Marcus. They don't have to go shop at Nordstrom. They don't have to shop at Tiffany. They'll go shop at Target or Walmart to get this guy in if they think he's the best person, the best fit, and the guy that's going to best help make the team better. And that is why I think that things are going to be okay in little old Baton Rouge, to steal a line from Davos.
Joe Burrow turned around a Athens, Ohio high school football program while he was there, a program that was used to losing and getting their heads kicked in. He made him nearly state champs as they lost in the state title game his senior year. He came down to Baton Rouge and revolutionized the LSU offense. Do you think 5 years from now that you're talking about Joe Burrow as one of the best quarterbacks on the planet?
I think 50 years from now we will be. I think 5 minutes from now he should have a statue outside of that stadium.
I think it's being constructed, designed.
Well, get it.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to get that thing going. There are talented artists there in that area.
Do him smoking the cigar. Would that be the ultimate flex, Cole? If they did him smoking the cigar for the statue?
As long as he didn't have the ball cap on, I think he'd be all right.
Well, it'd have to be a really good sculpture for the writing to show up on the ball cap. Which, man.
Here's the thing. Yeah, he's got weapons around him. Yeah, he had a good system, but that guy went out. And I hate system people. I hate system excuse guy, because you know what I know? That guy went out and did it. I saw it. It's not just on paper. I visually witnessed it. The dude went out and executed it. He threw the balls that the guys caught, and they went for a certain amount of yards. 60 touchdowns.
60.
0 to 6 interceptions. 6 with no number behind it interceptions, or no number in front of it interceptions. It is the most insane season that I think I've ever seen. And I'll say this, guys. That particular phrase has been in a closet with the door shut and padlocked since 2010. I have not allowed anyone to enter that discussion because Cam Newton was that guy for me.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, that 2010 Auburn offense does not have an NFL rush attempt, an NFL pass attempt, an NFL reception not named Cam Newton.
That is crazy. I mean, yeah.
And only one lineman played in the game, and that was Brandon Mosley in a reserve role. So that guy did more heavy lifting for any undefeated national championship team or just national championship team in modern history. Now, Lamar Jackson did more heavy lifting because that was the worst offensive line that any Heisman Trophy winner has ever played behind. But he didn't win as many games, or he didn't win as many titles. He didn't accomplish as many special things as those two other guys did. So that door is now open, and I'm willing to have that discussion. I'm still leaning Cam just because the dude led the SEC in rushing, and you kind of knew what was coming. And when you're running quarterback power, there's not a lot of other options for you to have.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to run over a dude or you got to run by a dude. And he did that a whole lot. And he threw some touchdown passes at the same time. So I will say this, the resume that Joe went through was more impressive. The teams that he beat were more impressive. And the numbers are just flat out more impressive. No SEC quarterback had thrown for 4,300 yards. The dude just went and threw for 5,700 yards.
I mean,
come on, what are we talking about?
Man.
It's unbelievable. And then for him to be able to do it with his legs at certain times, for him to be able to take hits at certain times, that quiet confidence, swagger, arrogance, cockiness, whatever it is that he has, outside of that Ed Orgeron ego removal drink that's down there, I want some of that confidence drink that Joe Burrow's got going as well.
Yeah, I mean, in the playoff alone, Burrow threw for almost 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, and posted QBRs of 99.1 and 97.5, and that's out of 100.
Here's another one that'll piss your listeners off. That Oklahoma defense that everybody laughs at that he did that to, I think, you may have to check the numbers, I think they finished 38th in pass defense this year.
Wow.
Yeah, like they weren't terrible.
Right.
It wasn't like, no, I mean, but it was, I mean, and then even throw Georgia into that mix. You go one game before that, so in the SEC championship, 2 playoff games, which ostensibly should be your toughest games, he threw for 16 touchdowns, and in that UGA game, again, he had a 96.8 QBR. So, yeah. It's
3 neutral site postseason games at Austin, at Tuscaloosa, beat Florida, beat Auburn. I mean,
it's crazy.
The amount of names that are on that resume are just silly. Rivalry game against Texas A&M. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, think about the thoroughbreds. Clemson's new money, yes, but they are now one of the college football big boy brands.
Yeah.
Georgia is a thoroughbred. Oklahoma is a thoroughbred. We just mentioned it. A&M, Auburn, Florida, Alabama, Texas. Come on, it's there's no debate here.
I better not see Kirby Smart above Eddie O on any list either, because he's got 2 years in a row now.
Well, I'm gonna tell you guys. I don't know what it is. For some reason, the Ed Orgeron respect thing is it's not going to happen, and it's fine. It's kind of like the whole Gus Malzahn hot seat thing. Like, Ed Orgeron national respect is the same as Gus Malzahn hot seat Auburn. Like, there are enough people that are just made up their minds they're not going to do it that I'm done having the conversation. Like, I'm done trying to convince people that Ed Orgeron's great. I'm done trying to convince people that Gus Malzahn can win games. Like, it's just, you guys believe what you want to believe, and I'm going to move on. That's why you saw me on Twitter yesterday. I'm just unfollow and move on, dude. I'm not for you. It's okay. Don't need you in my timeline. Mute, move on. Goodbye, Sally. I mean, it's over.
SEC Network, ESPN. He's the best. The best segment we got. Cole Cubelic every week here on Off the Bench. Thank you, man. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, fellas.